Welcome all you Highlanders to this tour of our Canvas course site. And the purpose of this video is just help you navigate through our course site so you understand exactly where you have to go and what you have to do this quarter. So if you log into Canvas and you click on ECON003 section 50, then you're going to see this course site pop up. At the very top, you're going to see a post for the last announcement that I sent everybody, right? It says I'm sending out announcements. You can always find those announcements posted up here and click on them if you want to read the full announcement, or just click on announcements here in order to see the announcements that I've been sending the class. So just in case you don't get emailed those announcements, for whatever reason, maybe you don't have your Canvas notifications turned on, right? You can still see them there. Right. Additionally, we can see the Canvas homepage here, right? And in that Canvas homepage, you're going to see a few things here. It says make sure to click on announcements to see that recent information, as I just talked about. But the main link that you're going to be using is the one labeled modules. We're going to be working on the modules every week, right? Having said that, I want to go over a few things on the homepage before we get to these other buttons. So here on the homepage, you're going to see a link for the Canvas course site video that we are making right now, right? So you can watch that anytime. And then you're going to see information about myself. So again, if you are interested in contacting me, it's got my email, my office phone number, as well as my cell phone number. Feel free to call me anytime at those numbers. You'll probably be more likely to reach me at least for the first 2 weeks on my cell phone, as again, we're going to be operating this course remotely in response to that Omicron variant of the COVID-19. It's also got my office location, 3107 Sproul Hall. If we are allowed back on campus, again, I'll be available for my office for student hours, both live in that room as well as through Zoom. Additionally, the student hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 a.m. to 1:30. If you do want to visit me through Zoom, you can check out the link here. Right, again, just click on that link, and from 11 to 1:30, I'll be in there answering questions. And again, even after the first 2 weeks of the course, I'll have that Zoom session open for anybody who'd rather see me that way versus come see me in person. I also have a copy of the syllabus and the Econ 3 goals contract, basically saying some challenges I anticipate in achieving my goals this quarter, as well as my strategies for overcoming those challenges. And the reason why I give you that is because you're going to have to come up with your own goals contract as part of the extra credit survey that is in this introductory module that you will be doing this week. So if you want that extra credit point, you have to complete that survey, and the last 3 questions are your own goals contract to kind of give you an example of one so you can see how that works. Additionally, we have the Discord site. This is not required in any way, but I figured if you all want to connect with each other, particularly during this remote period of instruction, you can do so through that Discord site there. So I've created one for the class and posted that link should you again want to interact with one another. If you ask me a question on the Discord site, I will try to answer it. But other than that, I'm not really going to be that involved with it. Again, it's kind of a way for you all to connect with one another. And then again, before we get into the modules, I do want to go over 4 pages I've created here on the course site that you might find useful. The first of which is called Student Opportunities. So whenever you teach these big classes, you get a lot of emails from student groups asking if they can kind of advertise their group at the beginning of class, or sometimes I'll get information about potential internships or study abroad or volunteer opportunities, things that, again, the students might find useful, right? So with that in mind, rather than giving everybody a little bit of class time, I want to reserve that class time for your education and ask them to send me an advertisement for their group that I'm going to post here under student opportunities. So if you click on that right now, then you are going to see that the boxing club, for which I am a coach and faculty advisor, right, is already up there for you. And as I get more and more emails this first couple weeks of classes, I'll keep adding to this list or adding to this page here labeled student opportunities. So again, you can come here if ever you want to see how you can get involved in different various student groups or again, different activities on or off campus. All right. Going back to our homepage, another link that you might find useful is the one entitled Student Resources. So I understand this can be a difficult time for a lot of people. People are suffering from a lot of stress due to the pandemic and other tensions that are existing here in the United States. Right. So if you find yourself struggling with anything, just click on Student Resources. And it's got links to all the university resources, including student support services, campus health and wellness, counseling and psychological services. And it's also got my email and cell phone number. Again, if you have any questions, if there's anything you need, if there's anything I can do to help you through this difficult time, just let me know. All right, so again, that's a resource for you as well, located on the homepage. I see people already being active there in the Discord site. That's good. We get a lot of that peer-to-peer interaction going, hopefully, in the first few weeks. Another thing that you might find useful is that sometimes you might experience issues interfacing with Canvas through your own computer or whatever operating system you're using. If that's the case, then again, I've located some technical support here for you. This is UCR's technical solutions as well as UCR's Canvas support. So you can check out those links there if you're ever struggling with anything. A lot of times I get emails from students saying that something doesn't appear to be working. If it's just one student out of, say, the 500 in the class who send me that email, chances are that thing's only not working for you because of something that's going on with your computer. As much as I love to help you with those solutions, I'm not really that great of an IT person, and these people can probably help you better. Now, if I get 30 or 40 emails from students saying that something's not working, chances are that's a mistake on my end or something that's going down with Canvas in general, in which case I will fix that as soon as I can and get back to you all. Again, if it's just one person sending me that email, I might refer you to this support page. Again, I can probably help you better than I can. And then the last thing on the homepage I want to go over before getting into the modules is the inspiration and positivity page. Again, it's a dark time for a lot of people. We can use an uplifting message. So I posted some video clips and readings and things like that that I thought might be inspirational and things that you might find useful, right? So if you're interested in kind of an inspiring video or something, you can check those out. Hopefully, putting a smile to your face, and at least make you feel a little bit better about your day. All right, now going back to the home page again, if you are missing announcements, you can always click on the announcements page. Any announcements I send the class will pop up here, including the one that I sent you all recently here about this course site being open. And then the big thing that you're going to need to do when you log into this homepage is click on this button here that says modules. You click on modules, it's going to take you to the work that you need to complete for each week. And each week there's actually two modules. There's the introduction module or module 0, and then there is module 1, which is kind of the first chapter, the first real work for the course. Right? Now, when you click on these modules, you can click on any one of these steps here independently, right? But what I would suggest you do is click on the beginning to get an idea of what the module involves, because I actually list out the steps for the module here in the module overview. And then when you're going down to the module overview, you can just proceed right to the next step. Right, so here in module 0, you're going to read the syllabus. I provided the syllabus as well as a copy of that goals contract for you here, as well as on that homepage. Additionally, I've also posted an introductory video, kind of what I would go through on the first day about how this class is going to operate, right? And I posted the slides for that both in PowerPoint form and PDF form so that you can access them regardless of which operating system that you are using, right? And then, so again, you'll read the syllabus, maybe read the goals contract, watch that introductory video, and then there's two surveys. One is more optional, the other is actually worth an extra credit point. So in that optional survey, it's just you can give me a little bit of information about yourself, like your favorite books or television shows or movies or hobbies, so I can start kind of tailoring examples to what the class is in. I encourage you to go ahead and fill this out because if you send me a message saying that you need to come see me in office hours, there's a good chance I might actually look at your survey, see what you're into. If you have any questions, kind of tailor the answer to those questions or those examples to the things that interest you most, kind of relate the information to you in the best way that I can. Right. Also, I mentioned in the introductory video that me and my wife are expecting our fourth child, the baby girl, in mid-February. One of those questions asked you for your suggestions and what we should name this kid because we're still kind of struggling with that. So I listed some of our favorite options as well as a way for you to kind of write in a response of your own, right, if you don't like any of the options that we have. And who knows, you could be at least partly responsible for naming our child. And then once you've completed that survey, if you want to move on to the class rules and academic honesty extra credit survey, it's just a survey to make sure you've read the syllabus and understand the rules of the class, as well as, again, are going to uphold the academic integrity that's expected of you as a UC Riverside student. And then the last step is just a quick meet and greet discussion board. That's, again, optional. I never require anybody to post anything in the discussion boards. The same way that I'm not going to require you to use that Discord site. But if you want to start connecting with classmates, that might be a good way to do it. Right, so again, this is the overview page. Once you've kind of gone through and understand what you need to do for the module, just click next. And it's going to take you right to that syllabus, which is the first step of the module. Again, you're going to kind of read through the syllabus here. And after you're done reading through it, you're going to click next again. It's going to take you right to that goals contract. Right, once again, you're going to read through that goals contract. Right, make sure you understand kind of what that goals contract is so that you can complete your own as part of that extra credit survey. And then again, click next. Right, now it's going to take you to this introductory video here. So again, this is what I would cover in the first day of class, explaining the rules of the class, right, and kind of what's expected of you for the course. I encourage you to watch that in case you have any questions about kind of how this class is going to operate. And then for each of these knowledge review videos, I also include a learning objective or a series of learning objectives, kind of what I expect you to know or get out of that video. Now, contained within these video are knowledge review questions. So as you're watching the video, a multiple choice question is going to pop up, and you're going to have to answer that question before kind of proceeding through the video. That's just a way to make the lectures a little bit more interactive and make sure you understand the material as we're going through it. It doesn't count for any credit, so don't worry about if you get the questions wrong or if you don't answer them at all. Right? Again, it's just kind of a way so that you know whether or not you're getting this information, kind of give you an idea of some of the questions I might ask on the exam when it comes to the actual lecture material. So again, you can watch that introductory video. You can click next. It's going to take you to that optional survey. Try to complete that by Friday, January 7th. That's when we'll start kind of downloading and looking at the results. Right after completing that optional survey, right, I'm going to take you to the online class rules and academic honesty extra credit survey. As long as you complete and submit this by the end of the day on Friday, January 14th, or the end of those first 2 weeks of classes, then you will get an extra credit point for doing so once this survey closes. Right. So again, click next, and it's going to take you to that discussion board meet and greet. So I kind of posted some information about myself, kind of reiterating what I talked about that introductory video. And then there's a place there for you to kind of introduce yourself, maybe talk about some things that, again, interest you or things that you're excited about with regards to this class, and hopefully get some good dialogue going. Again, this is a way for you to kind of connect with your fellow classmates or meet them, given that we're going to be doing at least the first 2 weeks of the course remotely. Who knows, we could end up doing more of the class remotely. It depends on what happens with this pandemic. Now, if you click next, it's going to take you to the overview for Module 1. And again, at any point, if you click on modules, it's going to take you to the entire module here so that you can click on these steps independently if you so choose. So for example, if you get halfway through a module, you want to pick it up with where you left off on the last step, you can start clicking there and then start proceeding through the rest of the module by clicking next anywhere that you start. Let's go ahead and take a look at what a typical module is going to look like in this class. The introductory module is, again, just kind of an optional thing there, a way to get extra credit and learn about the class. Week 1 is where you're really going to start doing assignments that count towards your grade, right? So with that in mind, once you've gone through the introductory module, the overview for this module is going to start off with these lecture videos. And in the first 2 weeks, again, this course is going to be done entirely remotely and entirely asynchronously, meaning that you never have to attend the class during your regular class time. You will be watching these pre-recorded videos during that time. And then again, if you have any questions about the videos, you can always let me know during my student office hours. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I mentioned this in the introductory video. I've been told to use the term student hours. It sounds a little bit more student friendly in terms of students that's their time to come and ask questions. Having said that, I think a lot of us are used to the term office hours. So I'll kind of be using both of those terms and using them interchangeably. With regards to these lecture videos, I give you the total runtime for all 4 videos as well as each individual video, right? So the total runtime for the lecture videos for this week is about 2 hours and 4 minutes and 49 seconds, right? Remember that we are supposed to meet for 3 50-minute sessions, right? So that's about 2.5 hours of class time. So this week we're a little bit under. There's some weeks that might be a little bit over, right? But for the most part, they're going to stay right around that 2.5 hour mark or maybe a little bit less. Right. Make sure you watch these videos and take notes. Again, I've got all 4 videos there separated and the runtime for each video. Also, if you want to kind of take notes using the slides, again, I provided them both in PowerPoint and PDF format. Now, associated with this class is a discussion section, right? Normally, you would attend that discussion section for one 50-minute class each week, where a teaching assistant would go over some additional stuff for each of the chapters, right? Again, for the first 2 weeks, at least, we're going to be doing this remotely, right? And so with this regards to discussion session video, it is a pre-recorded video that you can watch at any time. And again, follow along using the slides in either PowerPoint or PDF format. And then each week, you're going to have a discussion session assignment. That's 5 multiple choice questions related to the material that we talked about in that discussion session video, which usually consists of the material that may be the most difficult or the material that students need to review the most for the chapter. Right? And that is going to be due at the end of every week at 11:55 p.m. on Sunday. All right, so with that in mind, again, you need to complete that. There are a total of 9. The highest 6 count towards your grade. So you never have to go to your discussion sessions if you don't want to. Throughout the entire course, I'm going to keep these modules available asynchronously so that even if we do return to in-person instruction, if you don't want to come to class because you're nervous about the virus, or maybe you're just committed to learning remotely, maybe it's working out better for you, then again, I'm going to provide you the option or the ability to do that by keeping these modules and these pre-recorded videos available to you. So again, when we go back to in-person instruction, if we do, right? You can come to class if you prefer to learn live, or you can just keep learning remotely through these modules located here on Canvas. And that includes your discussion sessions as well. Now, for each module, I've posted both practice and coursebook questions. Your exam is going to consist of questions that I make myself, as well as questions that are going to come from the test bank of the textbook that we're using. Keep in mind, though, that everything on the exam I am going to cover in my lecture videos, right? So with that in mind, if I didn't talk about it in those lecture videos, then it will not be on the exam, right? So you don't have to go out and buy the textbook. Right? Again, that's completely optional. In fact, I'd recommend that you maybe save your money and just use the materials that I provide. And if you decide that you want it later, feel free to get it later. But again, it's not necessary for doing well in this class. However, because your exam consists of both questions I create myself, as well as questions that come from the publisher's test bank, now I posted practice questions of both kinds there for you. So there should be about 10 practice questions for each module there that I post for you, along with an answer key where I give you an explanation as to why the right answer is the right answer and why the wrong answer is indeed the wrong answer. And then I've also posted some coursebook questions, which are actually developed by the publisher, kind of related to the questions in the test bank, or similar to the types of questions that you may see on the exam. Again, there's going to be an answer key that gives you the right answer posted once you scroll through all the questions. Although because the publisher created these and they weren't mine, I don't think it has an explanation for why the right answer is right there at the end, but it does give you what the right answer is. Now, for each module or each chapter, I have created a review session video. So if you want to review the material, again, there's an asynchronous video available for you to watch to do so. And there are PowerPoint slides and PDF slides available for you to take notes while you're watching that review session. And then at the end of each module, when you feel comfortable with all the information in that chapter or in that module, you'll complete the Module 1 quiz. It's 10 multiple choice questions worth 1 point each. Again, the highest of the 3 attempts will be counted towards your grade. You don't have to use all 3 attempts if you don't want to, but you are allowed to take it 3 times, and the highest score is the one that sticks. And again, it's going to come from a set of randomized questions. So not every quiz that you get is going to be the same, although some questions might be the same, some are going to be different. And again, your highest score from those 3 attempts is the one that'll stick. And then at the end of each module, I have a virtual break room, right, where I provide you with different ways for you to kind of like loosen out or loosen up or de-stress at the end of a module, right, including a relaxation break and an exercise break, an intellectual break, and a social break. We'll kind of get to that here in a minute. But after you go through looking at the overview and kind of see what the steps are for each module, again, you just click next, and it's going to take you right to our first lecture video. Right, so again, this is what's going to replace our live lectures, again, at least for the first 2 weeks of the quarter. And then after those first 2 weeks, if we return to in-person instruction, these are still going to be available for you to watch for the rest of the quarter. So all the material will be available asynchronously if you never want to return to our in-person lectures, right? But again, once we do return to in-person, I will be there giving live lectures as well. Now, for each lecture video, you're going to see, again, the course or the learning objectives there available for you for this particular video. So after watching this video, this is what I really want you to know from it, as well as, again, each video is going to contain these knowledge review questions that you're going to answer as part of the video before moving forward. All right, click next again. It's going to take you to the next lecture video, lecture 2. Again, you see 30 of those learning objectives up there. Again, you're going to watch this video and complete those knowledge review questions before moving on into video 3, which contains even more learning objectives and, again, some knowledge review questions for you. All right, move on to the last lecture video for the chapter, right? And again, once you're done watching that, then you will move on to the discussion section video. You're just going to be watching these videos and clicking next to move through this particular course, right? Now, again, when it comes to the discussion sessions during this first 2 weeks, right, then these are, you can just watch these videos and complete the discussion session assignment. And again, your TAs will be available to answer any questions that you may have through Zoom. Right, they're going to be sending you those Zoom links individually, as each TA is responsible for running their own discussion section. That said, when we return to in-person instruction, if you decide that you are just doing a great job learning remotely, once again, you can just keep on watching these discussion videos asynchronously. You never have to go to your TA's discussion session if you do not want to. But they will be there giving help during those discussion sessions if you need it. If you watch that discussion session video, click next, and you're going to complete your first required assignment, which is your discussion session activity for Module 1. That is 5 multiple choice questions that you can answer there. Make sure you do so by Sunday, January 9th. Again, you have 2 attempts at this. The highest one is the score that is going to stick. And this will be based on that discussion session video that you watched in the previous step. Once you've completed this step, click on next, and it's going to take you to those practice questions that I mentioned earlier. So again, these are the questions that I kind of came up with myself. So again, you can kind of scroll through all the questions, and as you do so, you're going to get to the answer key, and the answer key is going to tell you again why the right answer is the right answer and why the wrong answers are indeed wrong, right? If you click on next, it's going to take you to the course book questions. These are those ones that are developed by the publisher. Right, again, you can click through, scroll through all your questions, and you should be able to see the answer key there at the end, right? But this one doesn't have explanations. It's just got the right answer. But again, you can see whether or not you get it right or wrong. Click on next again, and it's going to get you to that review session video, right? So again, this isn't something that you have to do, but if you want to review the material, I have a review session for each chapter, complete with those knowledge review questions, kind of interspliced during the video, so you can watch it and make sure you're understanding the material for the course. Click on next again, and again, it's going to take you to the last assignment or last required assignment for most modules, and that is the Module 1 quiz. Right, again, 10 questions worth 1 point each for a total of 10 points. The highest of 3 attempts this time is what will count, so you have 3 chances at it. Again, you don't have to use all 3 attempts, but you are certainly allowed to take it 3 times. Right, again, your highest score is the one that sticks. Right, so again, when you're completing these modules, make sure that you're comfortable with the information before you start taking that Module 1 quiz. Right, now, for all the quiz and discussion sessions, you are allowed to use your books, your notes, and help from the videos. It's during the exams that you'll also be completing through Canvas that you are not allowed to use any other material. You click next again, and this takes you to the last thing in each module, which will be the virtual break room. This is something that I've kind of recently added to my classes in order to just kind of help students with their overall mental and physical health, right? Because I know that, again, college can be stressful, particularly during this time as we're bouncing back from remote instruction to in-person or face-to-face lecture styles, right? I know that can be stressful by itself, right? So for each module, I include in the virtual break room an exercise break. It's just a short exercise session that you can do. Included in that, I also put a pass the prof, which is basically what I do during this exercise session. So if you want to outdo me, again, that's kind of what I do. You can try to beat me during these exercise challenges. And then, if you want to, you can drop a brag or talk about it in the discussion board, which is also located here in the virtual break room. Right. Also have a relaxation break that's going to consist of, oftentimes a short meditation or breathing exercise. There's also an intellectual break. These are virtual escape rooms that I've created where you can use clues to kind of solve riddles to get out of the room, and you can kind of time yourself and see how fast it takes you to get out of the room. Right. Again, maybe post your time on the discussion board, and other students can try to beat it. This is something that might actually be fun to do in groups. So get together with 3 or 4 other classmates, and each try to tackle a clue and see if you can get out of the escape room. You'll see what the escape room looks like. We'll just click on this link here. It'll take you to a Google Docs page that looks something like that. Right? If you hit present, right? Again, here is the lock that where that has the questions there, are all the clues that you're going to have to enter, or all the locks you're going to have to unlock in order to get out of the room. And if you click around there, or if you kind of scroll around the room, you'll see that there's certain things you can click on here, right, that you can use to get some clues. So, for example, if you click on this bulletin board, it's got this clue here, right? With that in mind, you can kind of piece together what your answer to one of those locks might be, right? And again, you can, it's kind of just a fun way to learn the material, and again, maybe get together with your classmates, interact with them, and see how fast you can get out of the room. And again, maybe post your times in the discussion board, see if other people want to beat it. I've got a virtual escape room for each of the first 9 modules. The 10th module I plan to have just be a review for your final exam. Right. Anyway, that's kind of what that looks like. And then finally, a social break, which consists of a discussion board. Or again, you can kind of, if you prefer, post the your scores from the exercise challenge. You could post your times from the escape room. You could post anything from chapter 1 that you thought was kind of interesting or that spoke to you. If you want to get into kind of conversations or debates with your classmates, feel free to do so, as long as you do so respectfully. Right? All right, so again, if you click on modules, that's where you're going to be spending most of your time on this course site, kind of going through the steps to complete the module for each week. And I'm going to make sure that the next module is available on Thursday of the previous week. So for example, at the end of the day on Thursday of this week 1, I'm going to have module 2 available for you as well, so that you can go to, so you can get a head start working on that module. Right, the idea is to give you the entire weekend, the entire next work week, and then the following weekend to complete all the steps in a module, right? Again, usually Thursday night or maybe real early Friday morning, I'll have the next module available to you so that you can start working on it. And that's it. So again, when you log into the course site, this is what you're going to see. The announcements and the modules is where you're going to spend most of your time. Just let me know if you have any questions at all about the course, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Feel free to shoot me an email, or you can come visit me during those Zoom student or office hours. Once again, I do want to reiterate that even if we return to in-person or live instruction, I'm still going to have it laid out this way for anybody who wants to continue through the class remotely. So throughout the entire quarter, you never once have to see me. You never once have to go to class if you don't want to, right? It's all going to be available asynchronously through Canvas so that you can complete this course at your own leisure. I'm trying to make everything as flexible as possible to accommodate any possible scenario that could happen during this pandemic. Whether that scenario is, again, us staying remote due to the pandemic, whether I or somebody in my family gets COVID, or whether or not my wife decides to give or happens to give birth during our lecture time or whatever, right? Everything's going to be available to be watched asynchronously, right? So again, you can always complete this class asynchronously, but if we are lucky enough to return to in-person instruction after 2 weeks, then I'll be going back to giving those live lectures as well for anybody who just prefers that method of instruction. But again, that's it. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Until then, stay safe and healthy. Take care.